Hello vinyl community, and welcome back to Mike's Vinyl Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it so very much. Today I'm so excited about our album to cover today. It is one of the new Analogue Productions and Atlantic 75 series album. It is Foreigner, their very first album. Now, before I get into that, let me just kind of tell you a little bit about the band. The band was formed in New York in 1976. Founding members of the band were Mick Jones, lead guitarist, Lou Gramm, lead vocalist. Ian McDonald played several different instruments, including saxophone, flute, many other different types of wind instruments, and others. Al Greenwood was the keyboardist, Ed Gagliardi on bass, and Dennis Elliott on drums. So when the album came out in 1977, it was really had huge success. The songs on the album, many of them saw a significant FM radio playing time, in particular Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. They were the two really huge hits the band had on this very first album that they had done. Others received radio play as well, as Long, Long Way From Home, The Damage Is Done, and Head Knocker all saw pretty significant radio playing time as the album slowly became a hit. So it's, for a band's first album, these guys really did knock it out of the park initially and did just a great job with this album. So let's take a look at the Atlantic 75 Analogue Productions release of this fine album, and let's see what we get for our $60. Once again, Analogue Productions is doing in my opinion, a fantastic job with their covers as of late. This is an old style tip-on gatefold jacket that they've done. Quality is impeccable. On the gatefold, if you can see that, okay. What basically this is words to all of the songs, and then a picture of the founding members of the band. And they've done just a great job with this. This was on the original, and I'll show you that here in a minute, on the original pressing. This was the record sleeve. This part was the record sleeve on the original pressing. So I think what they've done here is just excellent. It's phenomenal. Very, very high quality, glossy, very glossy. Just an excellent job with the rendition of the gatefold cover that they've done here, which I think is, all of the Atlantic 75 albums that I have purchased. I haven't purchased them all. I've got 3 or 4. But all the ones that I have purchased, the quality is stellar as far as their jackets and whatnot. They are just incredible. What an amazing rendition of this album that they have done. Okay, about the vinyl. The vinyl is of exceptional quality, as we've all come to expect from Analogue Productions. The mastering was done at Sterling Sound by Ryan K. Smith. I don't know if you can see this that well, but the vinyl is absolutely glossy, shiny, perfect. Once again, Analogue Productions has just done a phenomenal job with this. Their albums are all 180 gram. Once again, Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound did the remastering of this. The sound is really impeccable. It takes this classic album, at least in my opinion, it takes this classic album to a new level. A never heard level, if you will. I know that kind of sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. It's a phenomenal sounding album. In fact, when you get in and listen to this on the album, going back to my favorite track on this album is Star Rider. Now, if you haven't heard Star Rider, you need to jump on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever it is that you might listen to and listen to Star Rider. I think it's the best track on this album. It didn't get the playing time on radio at the time as a lot of the other songs, in particular Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time did. They are really truly headliners, and rightfully so. They're great, great songs. But Star Rider, listen to it. On this album, on Star Rider, and I listened to this intently, and this is really kind of the song that I chose to do critical listening as I compared this album to my original 1977 pressing and a Mobile Fidelity pressing that I have as well. The reason for that is on Star Rider, Mick Jones's guitar intro is just very vivid and clean. There's also a flute by Ian MacDonald that is just absolutely stellar, very identifiable, and sound quality is excellent. When the bass comes in, when Ed's bass comes in, his bass line is with proper authority and weight. It sounds amazing. The entire song, Star Rider, is very, very dynamic. When the drums come in, just, maybe a minute into the opening of the song, wow, talk about excitement and explosion. Very authoritative are the drums on this track. I've never heard it sound like it does on this version of the album, on this pressing. It's just phenomenal. Very clean, very clear, very precise. Instruments are projected in proper space. There's a dimensionality to the song on Star Rider in particular that I just have never really heard before. It's a joy to listen to it on this pressing. So once again, if you've not heard Star Rider, you gotta hear it. It's great. In particular, you gotta hear it on this version. It's great. So this is really a very, very well done pressing. Sound quality on this is first rate, considering this is a pretty old album, 1977. Sound quality is excellent. How does it compare to the original pressing and the Mobile Fidelity pressings that I've got? So before I get into the comparisons on this Foreigner album, let me kind of tell you how I did my comparisons. And this is kind of how I do all my comparisons. I take each album that I have, in this case, an original pressing from 1977 and a Mobile Fidelity pressing from 2010. And I listen to them, both sides, at least 2 to 3 different times before I settle in and choose a song, which is pretty obvious to you all that it's Star Rider, and do critical listening to. And on the original 1977 pressing, the sound, at least to me, is a little edgy on the top end. The bottom end's okay and the mids are okay. Vocal is fine, sounds good. It's a very good sounding album for sure, but it's just a little edgy on the top end. And that's kind of why I chose this album probably to be in third place from my copies that I have. So good album. The original copy is good, but the top end to me and my musical taste is a little on the edgy side. Now, the Mobile Fidelity version of the album is kind of, keep in mind, the Mobile Fidelity version has the DSD step in it. I believe it's DSD 64. This was again done in 2010. I really wanted this. I really didn't want to like that because of that digital step. I'm still kind of a little, I don't know what the right word is, a little unhappy with Mobile Fidelity because of that digital step. However, having said that, I like this version better than the original pressing. Let me tell you why. They kind of flattened out the top end on this a little bit, so it's not so edgy on the top end. And then, of course, like true to form, that Mobile Fidelity has done on several pressings of their albums that they do, they embellish or boost that bottom end. But on this album, it works for me. I kind of like the way that it sounds. That bottom end sounds actually pretty dang nice on this album. I actually like that. In particular, on Star Rider, when the bass line comes in, it's a little more identifiable on the Mobile Fidelity than it is on the original pressing. And of course, the drums have much more weight on this version than they do the original pressing. Overall, I think the balance on this is just a little bit better than the original pressing. It sounds really quite nice. I believe the Mobile Fidelity version of this album is still in print. I think you can still pick this up. I think it's around $40, $39, something like that. And so it does sound good. Once again, I prefer this over the original pressing just because of my musical taste, and I kind of like what Mobile Fidelity did here with this. It's a good sounding album. Having said that, going back to the new release from Analogue Productions, the Atlantic 75 version, this is really the best of all worlds. There's balance to the music here. There's clarity and there's definition. There's distance between instruments. There's three-dimensionality that really isn't there on really either the Mofi or the original. This is a very clean look into what was on those analog tapes that Atlantic had in their files. And Ryan K. Smith did a phenomenal job of remastering this album. It's literally phenomenal. So obviously the big question is, this is $60 as indicated. The Mobile Fidelity is $40. And I think you can probably get an original pressing in very good plus for under $20, I'm guessing. Is this worth $60? Yeah, this is a historic album. This has got great hits on it. The band's very first album that they did. It's phenomenal. It's great. For me, love of the album, like I say, you got to listen to Star Rider. I hope I haven't said that enough. But the album is really phenomenal. They've done a great job. $60. It's $20 better, definitely, and more than the Mobile Fidelity, and certainly I think much better than the original pressing. So to me, this is just a great rendition. And you know what was really neat about the Atlantic 75 albums that we're in the process of right now? If you're an audiophile, this is a great time to be purchasing vinyl records. With so many audiophile labels, in particular Analogue Productions, yes, Mobile Fidelity, Impex, many others that are out doing just fun craft recordings, that are out doing really wonderful represses of some of these classic albums. And for this Atlantic 75 series, I can't be more excited. Now, as indicated, I'm not purchasing them all. I'm only purchasing the ones that I feel attached to or that I absolutely love. And so I'm excited. For an audiophile, and I love good sounding music, in particular music that I love, this Atlantic 75 series is wonderful. So looking forward to further albums that are coming out. I know there's a new group coming out the 1st of December. In particular, and just heads up as well, I think it's December 1st that the new Steely Dan Gaucho UHQR album is coming out. I have that on order, and that will be arriving whenever it gets here, and I'll be doing an unboxing And of course, I'll be doing a comparison video on that album with an original pressing that I've got of Gaucho. I'm hoping that Gaucho is no different than Asia, and with Asia, they just flat out did an impressive, incredible job with Asia. Definitely the best pressing available as far as I'm concerned. I know there's a couple of folks out there that have talked about the Cisco. Once again, I've not heard it, but I trust their judgment and know that what they're talking about, and I'm sure that it's a wonderful sounding version as well. But the UHQR, once again, hats off to Analogue Productions, not only for the UHQR Steely Dan series, but for the Atlantic 75 series. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. And once again, more importantly than, I'd love you to subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Please do so. But please leave comments and let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the Atlantic 75. Even in particular, I'd like to know what you're going to be purchasing. Keep in mind, some of these titles are coming out on SACD. I've had a few people let me know that they're going to be purchasing those on SACD rather than albums because it's quite a bit cheaper, I believe, $30, $35 for an SACD. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're planning on purchasing of this new Atlantic 75. I, for one, am excited. I'm pumped as they release. I believe they're releasing 3 a month, which is super. Excited to be a part of that and to get those albums. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a great day.